Hey, I am John Barker and I'm here to record. Hey everybody, I am John Barker. Hey everybody, I am John Barker here from Here to Record, and welcome to another episode of Here to Record's Show and Tell. I'm John from Here to Record and welcome to this new series called Project Tiny Studio. And in this episode of Here to Record Show and Tell, we're going to take a look at the A10 Mini Pro. In this episode, we are on the floor and I've got all my equipment lying out. We're going to take a look at the A10 streaming bridge. So here's a quick walkthrough of the event. You can see that the AverMedia is now pulsing red. I was streaming for a total of 8.5 hours today. Here we go. This is everything on the table. So I want to show you pretty much everything we used. Switch it on and hopefully, yes, there we go. You should see it. I'm able to show it here and slide it out of the way from this production. Take a look around the device. You can see all the inputs and outputs are on the back as expected. Hopefully you learned something from that, and there'll be plenty more videos coming in the future. So please subscribe, and thanks for watching again. Bye-bye. Hey everybody. Welcome to the live stream. I'm just gonna shut off that audio there and take off my headphones, and hopefully you can see and hear me okay. Yeah, I thought I would kick things off with a little video today just to show that video again. I showed it on the sort of 5-year anniversary of the channel, and I just wanted to show it again because today we're going to talk about Playout, and specifically PlayoutBee. If you saw the title of this video, you'll know that. Let me just have a look at where people are tuning in from today. I saw lots of places all over the world before. I'm using one computer today, so you might see me click around a lot, and that's why things might look a bit different. But hello from Finland and from Turkey, from Jamaica. Lots and lots and lots of... someone's already just installed the Windows version of PlayoutBee. I haven't actually tried and tested out the Windows version yet myself, but we can come to that a bit later in the show. Hopefully you can all hear me just fine, but it looks like it. I've been talking for a while now, and it looks like no one's saying any major issues just yet. I'm just going to enjoy some water for a second. Already. Yes, all over the place folks have tuned in from, which is really nice. France and some people from the US, and awesome. Hopefully that's for the intro video and not... Yeah, I love the retrospective. Exactly. It's a shame that I ended it with a false cut to my super source. I got confused by my stream deck there. And also I'd like to thank Dennis for signing up as a new member today. I really appreciate it. That's nice of you to pop in. My balloons are flowing past in your honor, which is nice of you. Yes, lots more places. Netherlands and Brazil and hi from down under. Thank you for watching from down under. Surely it's a good time to watch from there, and audio is 100% good. Excellent to hear it. So we're going to get into lots of fun stuff today for sure. I don't know if I'm able to remove this camera here. Let's see if this will allow me to do this. If I just cut to this one. Which one did I connect it to? None of them. Well, we'll come back to that. I'm going to give you a little gear tour at some point as well. Oh, wait. There we go. That's why. Yes, I'll explain why I'm being all over the place with my work there. So, let's see if I can get this camera rolling. There it is. Let's cut to that. So, I made a mess on the table today, but we'll get to that in a second, because I first wanted to show off a sort of a version 2 of my little setup here, which is the infamous plywood box that I've been building, and it's coming together nicely. I've made some changes recently to it, where on the back now I don't know if I can get around there, but it doesn't matter. On the back I have a new, you can probably just see it there, a little patch panel is popping in there, and there's a power in there. I also have my companion Pi built in. I'm able to stow this away under here and put it away. The monitor's the same, and then I have the camera on top as well. So it's making some improvements, definitely. I will definitely make a video about that when I let's click this on here, whenever I'm super happy with it. But yeah, I'm getting there with that. That's basically the main sort of thing I've been up to in the last week or so. I've done some gigs out of the house, and I've done a bunch of development and working hard on apps and chatting to people on Zoom and all that stuff. So loads of things being worked on, but nothing huge to show just yet. Someone said, you honestly have the best background / studio on YouTube live streams. Happy to hear that. I guess nature in the back is a nice thing to have sometimes. Hello from a few other places. And yes, look at all those pies. Look at that flock of pies. We'll get to those definitely. Which keyboard is that, and do you like it? I'm guessing you mean like standard computer keyboard. This is the MX Keys, Logitech MX Keys. I really like it. You can pair up to 3 computers and switch between them. It also has Mac and PC labels on the buttons, so you can jump between those. If you meant the Stream Deck, then that's the Stream Deck XL. So a couple of keyboards in front of me here. Yeah, so that's a little gear tour, but I think we should jump into what we're going to chat about today, which is PlayoutBee. Now, if you're not familiar, I think it would be worth just giving you a quick little overview of what it is. So if I cut to this one, this is the Gumroad site. There's no website yet. I know I've told the developer Jonas to get on that, and I'm sure he's working hard on it. And he's in the chat as well, Jonas, who worked on PlayoutBee, so we can chat to him and bug him with questions a bit later in the show. But anyway, PlayoutBee, the idea here is it gives you this UI. You run the image on either Linux or Windows right now, hopefully Mac in the future and stuff. And in my case, I've loaded it onto a few Pis in front of me here, which of course I'm going to get to in a minute. I've loaded the image onto those Pis, and what it gives you over the network is an interface, which I just showed you there on the website, where you can control and load in clips, MP4s, and load them in, play them, loop them. It also has, let's see what else you can do. You can loop them, yeah, it brings out this web interface. And what's really nice about this whole system is that it just mimics, it's kind of like a backwards engineered HyperDeck. So it actually listens on your network for calls from the ATEM software control. So if you've ever saw, maybe you've never actually headed into this app or this section of the application. I don't think I have. I wasn't going to show off this particular part today, so I'll just give you a quick little glance at it. But in the ATEM software control here, you can set up HyperDecks, up to 4 HyperDecks, and you can imagine how expensive it would get to buy yourself 4 HyperDecks. But with this PlayoutBee, you can punch in the IP address of the PlayoutBee, and then as far as the ATEM software control knows, it is a HyperDeck, so it can play back clips. It doesn't record clips; it's just the playback part of the whole ecosystem. It also supports, and the reason I'm doing this video is because Jonas over the weekend or last week shipped out a few new updates for it, which means it supports auto roll. Let me have some water. Well, I'm talking a lot already. It supports auto roll and a few other bits and pieces, which means it was a pretty significant update, and I thought it was totally worth chatting about today. Anyone who's already clicked on the description below will see there's a discount code in there, but we'll come back to that later too. But this will be a good chance to jump in there and grab a copy if you haven't already. So, what am I going to show you? Yes, this. Let me just have a little, I'm going to keep my chat open here just in case anything pops up. And yes, Doug Johnson Production says, yes, 4 HyperDecks are expensive, but not as expensive as 9. Well, some people need more than 4. I have 1 and I thought that was expensive. So I wouldn't want to buy 3 more just to play back clips. In this case, the PlayoutBee has a perfect use case for many folks who don't quite need that many. I just realized that my lower third chat messages were on for 1 day. The duration was 1 day. Let me just pull that back to a little bit shorter here. 20 seconds will work just fine. Yes, so on the table over here, if I go to that, you did see that I had quite a few Pis here. So each of these Pis, in this case, have the image loaded onto them that Jonas provides. And then they also have, they're connected up to my Ethernet here, or my network with a cable, and they're also connected up by power, of course. I have a little power hub over there. And then the only thing missing from this one that I just showed you there was HDMI. I have it on here. The reason is because I have HDMI in this camera rolling into this ATEM. So I'm going to have all 4 HyperDecks, or not HyperDecks, PlayoutBees on this ATEM Mini, and then they'll show up in a second. So that's I mean, I don't want to say it's like super simple. If you haven't used Raspberry Pis before, it can maybe seem overwhelming. I am far from an expert on Pis. I know barely enough to get this going. So, but I kind of want to reassure you that if you get the image and read some documentation, or if you bug Jonas in the chat here, or if you bug him on our Discord, I'm here to record Discord. There's a link to that in the video description as well. You can get the questions answered, which is really nice to have. But I think what I'll do is I'm just going to detach this this camera here and plug in my 4th HyperDeck. I keep saying HyperDeck. PlayoutBee. It's basically like a HyperDeck, but it's a Pi, which is much less expensive. So I have that, and what I'll do next then is just show you the web interface real quickly. So you had a little sneak peek of that a second ago there, but here's a more close-up look at it. So this is not the screen grab from before. This is the actual one, and what I can do is load clips on by pressing the plus, and I can add clips to the Pi. They actually get copied over to the SD card, so they're actually living on the Pi for much better playback. And then I have each of my clips here. I have this one that comes sort of included with it, so you can get some instructions, and then I have a couple of other ones here. In fact, if I show you the multi-view real quickly, so this is my ATEM Mini Pro with the multi-view of all 4 Pis connected up to it, and you can see there on preview is the one that I just clicked on, and it just tells you what you have to do. Once you load up the Pi, you shouldn't have to connect a keyboard or mouse to it or anything like that. So it sort of gives you this little hint of go to PlayoutBee port 3000 / control, and that's what I'm in right now. PlayoutBee on port 3000. This might be quite small to you, but / control, and I can see all of the controls that I have right now. I can click on any clip and play it. I can also loop it. And in my case, what I did for the opening video was I just pressed play here. But what I will do right now is just press play and let that loop. And then if I head back over to my multi-view there, which you can see now, I have all 4 of them connected. Excuse me. I have all 4 of the Pis connected to the ATEM Mini Pro. And if you take a look at number 4 there, I'm just going to put it in preview. And I'm just going to restart it real quick. And you'll see basically what happens whenever you boot it up. So I'm making Pi number 4 full screen. And I plugged in the power cable. It might take a minute or 2 to come on. The load up doesn't take that long actually, but you can see it here just booting up the Pi and doing what it needs to do. This is live demo, so who knows what'll happen, but in theory it should just boot into the right screen for me. And there it is in the Raspberry Pi classic interface. And then from there it goes full screen on this little message to say that you should go to PlayoutBee 3000. Now what I've done in my case is set up, since I have 4 Pis, I've had to set up all 4 of them. So for me, it's not PlayoutBee 3000. It's PlayoutBee, PlayoutBee 2, PlayoutBee 3, PlayoutBee 4, and you can set it up that way. So now if I head back into my computer, which is that one, this is the one that I had a minute ago, but if I just change this to be PlayoutBee 4, you can see nothing's rolling here, and I can just select this final clip, and it's playing now, and then go back to my ATEM Mini, in multi-view mode there. Oh, wrong one. That one. Then you can see all 4 of the PlayoutBees running. Funny enough, camera 2 and camera 4 are running at exactly the same time, and that is entirely accidental. It just, for some reason, worked out that way. But it gives you a kind of a gist of how fast you can go from, startup to its working, which is pretty neat, I think. And I could load on more clips if I wanted, more clips onto it if I wanted to. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to look back in and see if I have any questions pop in there while I was giving that little demo. Let me see. What monitor is that? That is the CTEK ATEM 156. There's a link below this video to my product page talking about that, so you can check that out. Maybe you got an answer to that already. And yes, it is a hive of PlayoutBees. If I miss any questions and stuff, just you can either bring them over to the Discord where we have I think we have a channel for PlayoutBee. If we don't, I can definitely make one. And Jonas has a Discord as well if you want to ask any specific questions. How soon on the Mac version I'm seeing here, that I have no idea. I think there's a Mac version coming. Maybe I said too much, but Jonas will know better than I will on that one. Question: I used the new PlayoutBee at an event today, but I didn't understand the auto roll part. Can you describe it? Is it going to play automatically when I cut to the input of the HyperDeck? That is exactly right. So if I just bring up the ATEM software control again here and just show that real quickly, you will see that there is this auto roll checkbox here. And that means that whenever you have that set up within PlayoutBee, you're able to, whenever you cut to that input on your ATEM, so long as you have it all set up right. For example, there you can see that you tell it which input the PlayoutBee is connected to. Whenever you cut to that input, that will auto start the video that's on that input, which works really nicely. I can't test it right now because I have them all going into a different ATEM and I don't want to switch between, but yeah, that's exactly how that works. Once you cut to it, it tells the oh, that was weird. It tells the HyperDeck, in this case, the PlayoutBee, to start playing. So apologies if I'm really far behind now too. It was fun to go through all the stuff there. I'm just going to bring up the latest here, and maybe Jonas is already answering all the wonderful questions that have come in. Speaking of that, actually, he was nice enough. I mean, I feel like I don't need to say full disclosure because Jonas is a part of the Discord and stuff, which is excellent. But we have become professional buddies, you might say. So he was nice enough to do me the favor of adding a discount code for the whole the audience here. So the link is in this video description. It gets you 15% off. Whenever you click that link, it automatically applies the discount code, which brings you to this page. You can see it's got a / here to record there. And then now, instead of, in my case on the pricing here, it says it was a certain price and now it is this price. Maybe your local currency or whatever Gumroad does to figure that out will be a bit different than mine, but you get the gist. A nice little 15% discount. If you're thinking about buying it, then I would say you should do that in case the price pops up whenever he adds lots of cool new features. So yeah, it's definitely worth clicking that link and checking it out. Let me see, what else do we have? Yes, Jimmy D Thing wants to know, can it be controlled by a companion? Yes, there is the start of a API coming together nicely. So right now you can do play, stop, pause, and select clip, I think. And Jonas has that documented somewhere. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I was playing with that before. But because of the way I had my stuff set up on my Stream Deck is running Pi, Companion Pi, and then it was talking over the network, I just ended up not spending much time on that. But yeah, you can absolutely use the HTTP module built into Companion to do that, which or instance or whatever they call it these days. So that'll work nicely and hopefully more features will be added to that. You can ask them, and people have already answered a lot of these questions already. And the Windows version auto rolls 2. Nice to know. Good to know. Can you crop the video that's playing? Not within the Pi. There's not really any features. Within PlayoutBee, there's no features to do that kind of stuff. Maybe that could be a cool enhancement. And of course, it's coming into your ATEM like any other input. So anything you could do with any other input, you could do with this one. So you can put it in the super source. You can put it in DVEs and do all sorts of stuff like that. So while there's nothing like that built into the system itself, you could still do other things within the ATEM as it's just an input. Started up fast enough. If you ever had to power off for any reason, you could recover quickly and very comfortably. That is very comforting. I agree completely. Can you set the output frame rate? Does it support pull down rates? I don't know, actually. Maybe Jonas already answered that. I'll let him answer that maybe later. I can see some of his answers popping in now as I work my way down here. What do you recommend for a Raspberry Pi? Again, I'm sure Jonas will have a good answer for this, and I will get him on the live show at some point. I just knew that I would have more than enough stuff to talk about by myself with this introduction that I wouldn't be able to spend time chatting with him. So this is more of like a 101 to the PlayoutBee system, and then, you know, the next lesson will be some other day whenever Jonas can pop on the stream with me, which we'll definitely do. To answer that question, though, I specifically am using a Raspberry Pi 4. I don't know, whatever one Jonas recommended, that's the one I'm using. The 4 gigabytes of, I don't remember. He'll know better. And the Mac version, Jonas is popping in with answers now, which is excellent. It's planned in the near future. No ETA yet. Well, that's an answer, definitely. Yeah, exactly. This is the one I'm using, the Raspberry Pi 4 with the 4 gigabytes option, which seems to run really nicely. And like I said, the reason I held off on making this video for a little while and talking about it was I knew Jonas was working on some fixes for the auto roll and for any tearing issues that might have popped up before. But for my tests so far, they've been really nice. You can see they're black right now because they're in a looping phase, but it's been running really nicely for me so far today, and I've been stress testing it over the weekend just to make sure everything worked as I expected it to, which is nice. Let me see. MT says, just got all together to assemble. Oh, you just got everything together to assemble yours, right. And it's working very well, but it struggles to play 1080p MP4 videos. It's more of a Pi GPU. Yeah, I think some of it is to do with the frame rate, and some of it is to do with maybe hopefully you're running the newest version as well. But I'm sure there will be some recommendations on what frame rate that runs best. I have tested with some videos before and didn't run well. And then these ones that I'm using right now, which are all 1080p MP4s, seem to be working just fine. So things will go well. Wood turning tool store wants to know, can you show or describe how to install the update? I could probably do that. I downloaded the image from Gumroad, and then I used a piece of software. In my case, I forget what it's called. It's the one that Companion Pi recommends. Valencia Etcher. And in that piece of software, if I just bring that up here, let me see. It's on my computer now. I use this one. And in this case, you just select a file from disk, which was the image that I downloaded, the target, which was the SD card connected to the computer, and then I hit flash, and then the rest just took some time, and it happened. And then I plugged that into the Pi, and it ran really nicely. I didn't want it to be any more complicated than that, so it didn't have to be any more complicated than that, which is nice. What HDMI cables are you using from the Pis? It is easier to use a case with full-size HDMIs. I totally agree. Whenever I bought these 4 Pis a few months ago, for some reason I decided to buy HDMI cables at the time, micro HDMI to full size. So I'm using Cable Direct. Is that what they're called? They're on Amazon. They're like 1.5 meter versions, and I just have them now, so I don't want to then go buy cases and different cables and stuff. So these are working just fine for me, but I guess if I did it differently, I would have thought a little bit more about which cables. I haven't quite decided, and maybe pretty soon I'll come up with a design of how to stack these, 3D print something, maybe a way of doing this. The reason I built this, and that's why I have 4 of them and not just one to show off, is because it's a perfect example. If I show you this multi-view here, what I actually intend to do whenever I'm doing product reviews and things like that is, I'm just trying to find the right picture here. There's a lot of flashing on the screen. I think that's when I'm hiding. I never really use Windows usually to do my live stream stuff, so I'm learning a lot today. What I plan to do is use these Nodding John videos as I've come to know them as. So whenever I'm running, I'm just going to pause them now just because they're really just distracting me now. But whenever I'm running tests on pieces of hardware, I wanted to feed it with sources that are not my main camera view, not this view, because I want to, sometimes shoot stuff over on the bench over there, and I just wanted to get sources in there. So this all worked out nicely for me. The cost of 4 Pis plus the 4 licenses for the PlayoutBee, plus the cables and stuff, I didn't tally up, but we're looking like in the $150 region per device, I would say, roughly. So that made more sense for me than buying 4 HyperDecks, for example. So it's a really nice use case for my instance. That's why I have 4 of them. Taking a couple of final questions here before I slip into the post show today. And actually, I just want to take this opportunity before I do take the last few questions just to thank all the wonderful members of the channel. I really do appreciate anyone who's signed up as a member of the channel. In fact, I have a couple of members. We have 2 members who are supreme supporters of the channel, which is super nice. Just finding, I said part of the perks is that I mentioned the channel. So Joseph Israel and Cloud Bedrock are supreme supporters of this here channel. If you want to support the channel, I do appreciate it a lot. There's a join button underneath there, and you can join all the other members of the channel, along with Dennis, who signed up earlier today, which is really nice. Let me look at the final sort of question before I slip into the post show, and we can answer more questions there for sure. And maybe Eunice has already answered plenty of them along the way as I've been chit-chatting here and all sorts. Yeah, now I've finally caught up to all the nice chatting back and forth, which is nice. Let me see. Maybe a lot of these have already been answered, which is nice. Looking for one final question to grab. Tech Condo says, too late. Looking forward to watch this video after. But you're here. You're not too late. I'm still chatting. Which is excellent. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah. Ali says, I'm late. Meetings dragged on. Hey. Welcome. And here's a PSA to finish with. Raspberry Pis are soon out of stock due to circuit shortages, which will last until 2024. So if you can get a Pi, you're lucky. So this would be a time to definitely grab yourself a Raspberry Pi, that's for sure. And I tell you what, we're going to just slip into the post show. If you're watching live, stick around. I'm not going anywhere. If you're watching on demand, then the post show is for members only, and you'll find a link to the post show in the video description. So I'll see you there in a few seconds. Bye-bye.